Hi guys, hope you're well. So there's a bit of a change with the way that the video analysis is now being produced. So there's no written content anymore. I just found that it was too wordy and not enough people were actually engaging with what was being written. So there's no point in me going to the effort of writing it. So the video is now longer because you'll hear my voice more, and hopefully I'll put in more clips of either batting or bowling as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions or any comments or feedback on it, please let me know. In terms of this session, mostly just batting focus. I haven't seen Aarav for quite a while, a couple of months. So just going through, having a look at how he's going, how he's moving to the ball, the positions he's getting into, the shape he's in at different points, and how he's transferring his weight, because that's been an issue in the past. So enjoy. Just for some context around this session, obviously this was the first time I'd seen Aarav in a few months. And this was the first time, I think, from memory, that I've ever thrown the pink side arm at him, which is probably adding at least 10 to 15 kilometres an hour to the ball speed that Aarav was probably used to previously. And you'll see from the various shots that I'm going through, there's a lack of footwork. Often when the ball's a bit shorter and at the body, Aarav's moving back and trying to get out of the way of the ball. Like, perfect example there. As an opening batter, that's a big area that Aarav needs to improve on. It's not a technical aspect. Well, there is a technical aspect to it. We'll go through that later in terms of Aarav's trigger movement and what position that gets him into and how that affects certain shots like the one you've just seen there. But it's also a mental thing as well. Wanting to face that type of bowling, it's difficult, but once you're able to have a level of confidence and be able to play that type of bowling, the feet start to move. So there are two positives that I found from Aarav's session. The first one, halfway through the session we had a chat. He was struggling a little bit. He was getting a bit flustered by the pace. And after this chat, Aarav, for the first 5 minutes or so, really made a big effort to try and leave the ball, as an opening batter should. So he was able to settle himself down, relax, refresh, and then switch back on and play as he should. So that was excellent. The second one is shots like this one, this cover drive here, and a few other shots that he played. He was hitting the ball with with a much straighter bat, which will allow him to hit the ball more powerfully, have more control in his shots. Alright, so in terms of the technical aspect of Aarav's batting that I wanted to highlight, it's his trigger. So stance position is fine. The position he gets into when he triggers, he opens up his back foot. You can see it turn slightly more towards cover, and his front foot really opens up towards the bowler. He's starting to drop onto his back foot. That's where the weight's going, and it's only going to get lower. And you see him get lower. And then from this position, he's going to try and push himself forward. There's too much weight on the back foot. His back knee is starting to collapse, and he cannot push forward off the back foot, which means he gets a small stride. He plays out in front of himself. The bat turns in his hand. He hits the ball poorly. So we need to make sure that when Aarav triggers, he's keeping his head a little bit higher, and that will help keep his body upright, but also prevent so much weight being pushed onto the back foot and creating that bend in the right leg.